Welcome back to the second half of Day 1 in Game 5 here on Field 4, as this is Game 26 at the 3rd Annual TST Live from the WakeMed Soccer Park in Cary, North Carolina. That's a lot of numbers getting thrown at you, folks, as we are halfway through the busiest day at TST. I'm already on my 5th call of the day, and it's been an awesome day thus far. This evening's matchup is a Group G1 featuring Brown Ballers FC and Tenfifteen FC. Hello again, everybody. My name's Christian Filliman, better known as Philly, and I will be with you for the remainder of the evening. Let's go over the rules really quickly before we get to learn a little bit about the two teams. We have two 20-minute halves of running clock here on this 65-yard length pitch, 45 yards in width. The clock will keep going unless there is an injury or an official timeout. There is no slide tackling, no throw-ins, no offside, and more importantly, no ties. This game, at the conclusion of the two 20-minute halves, is going to go into what's called target score time, a clever acronym off the TST. The soccer tournament is what it means. Target score time is how we're going to end this game. For example, if Brown Ballers wearing the blue and white kits conclude the game with the score being 1-0, well, the target score time will be 2. 1 goal for Brown Ballers wins it. Tenfifteen will have to score 2. That is how that works. And we're going to tell you more of the rules later, but we'll start 7v7, and every 3 minutes incrementally, if there's been no goal scored, we will remove a player from each side, going down to 6v6, another 3 minutes, 5v5, another 3 minutes, so on and so forth. Now that we've gone over the rules real quickly, let's get to know the teams. Brown Ballers are wearing the blue and white kits. They are the first ever South Asian team, and their mission is to break barriers and inspire the next generation to prove that South Asians belong at the highest level of sports. They are the largest platform dedicated to South Asians, and this should be a fun one. Normally competing in the tournament, the TBT on the basketball side, they will have their opportunity here competing at the TST. On the other end of the pitch, Tenfifteen FC in their second year at TST. They lost in the round of 16 to Concaifa. They're a Dallas, Texas-based team, and more on them in just a bit. We are underway, live from Field 4 here in beautiful Cary, North Carolina. They've been a gracious host to the TST tournament, going on 3 seasons now. The player we would like to highlight on Brown Ballers FC, number 7, Rohan McElligott. That is a man who has played it for the Irvine Strikers and has competed in Germany with the likes of Borussia Mönchengladbach, Die Fohlen as they are known, and Fortuna Düsseldorf. He is a player to keep your eye on, a deadly, deadly offensive weapon. On the other end, for Tenfifteen, we could take a look at Zach Lloyd. For those who are familiar with MLS, an incredible MLS career, 180 caps with FC Dallas, popular in the area as he was once a UNC Tar Heel. In fact, went to the Final Four 2 straight years back in 2008-2009. But we could also take a look at number 22, Dyerson Gratterall, and number 23, Beto Carrillo. Tenfifteen with experience at this TST tournament. Romans 10:15, that's where the name comes from. And that Bible verse is, how beautiful are the feet of those that bring the good news. They are a Christian soccer ministry that likes to utilize sport. And I've got a chance to meet them in the hotel the other day. Some very, very nice people. But not going to be nice as well, the two teams as they look to battle. Both teams coming in with a loss on the day. Brown Ballers lost to West Ham earlier by a score of 3-1. Tenfifteen lost to Villarreal by a score of 4-2. Ball comes into play to Brown Ballers. Trying to get threaded through. Operating on that right side. As we see number 17, Ruben Gill. Threading through as Tenfifteen is trying to compact themselves defensively. Your keeper for Tenfifteen, Jesus Rivera. On the other end should be number 2, Nathan Beckett. See how fatigue factors into this one as both teams did play earlier. There we're taking a look at Dyerson. Dyerson Gratterall, who played in the UPSL, a semi-pro league here within the United States. Beto Carrillo, the other player we wanted to keep an eye on for 10-15, played at Columbia University and for the U18 Mexico side, as well as the U15 U.S. Youth National Team. Product of the FC Dallas Academy. There's the attack and the goal. Ever so quickly does 10-15 strike, and they manage to find the back of the net. Number 9, Oscar Ocampo, drawing first blood. Oscar Ocampo. They like to refer to him as Messi. Played at Club Deportivo Independiente. Also featured for the FC Dallas Blue. But a strong start here for 10-15. Early in this match, an opportunity. That one gets thwarted and kicked out of play. Brown Ballers looking to quickly respond to the goal that 10-15 managed to strike with just a moment ago. No throw-ins, as we mentioned, in case anybody was wondering or tuned in late. And I just want to say welcome back to everybody who joined us earlier in the day. No doubt y'all have become experts on this TST tournament, but we're going to be a little redundant here as we progress through the game. Don't want to assume that everybody tuning in has had the opportunity to pay attention to this wonderful tournament, now in Season 3. Growing leaps and bounds from its 32-team start. 48 teams in this year's rendition. As that ball gets intercepted by Brown Ballers, number 23, Amit Bogle. Brown Ballers caused some upsets in the TBT, the basketball tournament. And why I refer to that, well, it's same ownership here that owns the TST. In fact, it was the TBT that was successful enough to create the birth of the TST tournament. 10-15 on the attack. Ball gets dumped over to Perez. Back over to Dyerson. Dyerson going to go towards the midfield. Connecting with number 19, Tommy Robinson. By the looks of things, 10-15 utilizing their first names on the back of their white kits. Both teams' kits very, very sharp. We've seen some very stylish garments throughout the course of this tournament. Those kits hopefully for sale. At the very least, you could go to soccer.com and pick up a t-shirt for your favorite team here at the TST tournament. 10-15 had a player by the name of Garrett Bloom not too long ago. Had the honor and privilege of getting to call some of his games. He is a member of the Major Arena Soccer League's Empire Strikers. Taken away by Brown Ballers. They were looking for a foul, the official allowing them to play. For the most part, the officials have been very generous with allowing both teams to play here on Field 4. So 1-0 in favor of 10-15. A strong start. As the sun comes down, starting to feel some of that breeze that Mother Nature is blessing us with. It's a little hot and humid and muggy just several hours ago. That certainly takes its toll on the players, on the fans. In some cases, if we're not under the tent, the broadcasters. Pace slowing up a little. That ball goes back to the keeper. Tommy picks it back up. Tommy looks like he's built out of stone. There's an attempt that ricochets off Tarun Karamanchi. Keeper can be used as a scoring threat. Coming out of the box, though, unable to use his hands, but of course, that is very well known in this beautiful game of soccer. Soccer, a term that derives from association football, a soch to soch to a sock to soccer. That is where the term soccer originally comes from. Battling on that touchline. Ball is one, shot attempted, and there is the equalizer. A quick answer for Brown Ballers FC as that goal is scored by number 17, Ruben Gill finds the back of the net, and we are leveled at 1. Ruben Gill, who featured for the Leicester City Academy, also with the Des Moines Menace in the USL. And we are level at 1-1. The experience that Tenfifteen has not rattling brown ballers here in this game 5. That ball's going to come off the touchline. Quick play in right for Tenfifteen. Dyerson goes to his left side. Ball comes back to Dyerson. In on that corner to Tommy. Tommy threads it through inside the box, but it ricochets back out to the midfield. Dyerson weighing in his options. Opts to go towards the midfield, resetting the attack for Tenfifteen. About 8 minutes, 35 seconds in. Dyerson tried to reclaim it. Pocket is picked from brown ballers. On the counter, they don't have the numbers, as we see a lot of white kits. And that ball gets scooped right back up by Jesus Rivera. Jesus Rivera featured in the Major Arena Soccer League for the Texas Outlaws. A lot of the success, and we've said this time and time again, for players and teams within the TST tournament comes by way of players from the Major Arena Soccer League. In fact, at least over 120 MASL athletes competing in this tournament. The likes of West Ham and Concafa. See representation on the pitch here in this game. La Bombonera, who was last year's champion, they were a team that consisted of several players from an MASL team called the Chihuahua Savage. That team spun off and had sent several players to Boca Dallas. Boca Dallas, the team of Marco Fabian. Marco Fabian, who had an incredible career in the outdoor world as well as the indoor world recently. On the run is Brown Ballers. Pass goes into the right side. Defensively, Tenfifteen tracks back. An ambitious attempt sailing over the crossbar. And the change of possession occurs. Mammoth shot taken by Amit Bogle. Bogle, who played with Reading United, played in Westchester and Loudoun United in the USL. Collegiately at Mount St. Mary's. Into the box goes Tenfifteen, trying to thread it through. The defensive Brown Ballers collapsing in. Approaching that 11th minute. Again, 2 20-minute halves of a running clock is how the game is going to go. Then we will head into target score time, where we will have a winner. The individual who scores the target score time game-winning goal is going to be awarded with what's been known as the Golden Fleece. There's a shot well above the crossbar and towards the pitch where the NC Courage of the NWSL call home. Envying this beautiful ground that the NC Courage do get to play on, surrounded by a lot of wilderness and trees, something you don't see very often in the parts of the world that I'm from. A New Yorker, born and raised and living in Los Angeles, so trees and nature aren't something that we come across very often unless we go out and seek it. Ball comes into Perez. Taken away by Brown Ballers. And there is a foul down on the pitch. Player that we're seeing a lot of for Brown Ballers, Ruben Gill. Ruben Gill, who scored the equalizer just moments ago. Pass comes in to number 6, Paul Lobo Casahase. Brown Ballers applying pressure up top, nearly picking pockets. Perez advancing it across the midfield. Tenfifteen looking to capitalize on this counter. Slowing things down, going back over to the midfield. The pass comes in. Looked like they were trying to connect inside the box. but that just goes to the left of the crossbar. So tied at 1. We approach the halfway mark. I think that originally that attempt that went to the left of the post was intended for Perez. Just had a little too much mustard on it. Quick play in back to the keeper. Brown Ballers keeper is Nathan Beckett. Nathan Beckett featured with Notts County. And that ball comes out of play. You mentioned the dimensions. We told you about some of the rules. With both teams carrying losses coming into this game, this is a very important match. Into the box, deflected. Another attempt. Shot bounces. Picked right back up. Dyerson Gratterall trying to find Perez. And this has been an exciting one thus far. 1-1. If the result holds at the conclusion of the second half, that target score time will be 2. But with the way both teams are competing and knocking on each other's doors, I do not anticipate a 1-1 conclusion after 20. But we still got a half and change to go. That one deflects and just misses. Ever so close. Ever so close. Tenfifteen nearly with the go-ahead goal. Number 14, Terry Asamoah in the game for Tenfifteen. Seeing his first minutes. Poke back up. Asamoah was calling for it as he was open up top. Cross in just above. And Perez unable to head it through. Dyerson looking to apply pressure to the keeper. Ball goes into the corner. Back over to the midfield. Bogle goes back to his keeper. Bogle looking to make that run on the right wing. Close to that touchline. And down goes. One to one still the score here. With under 5 minutes to play here within the first half, score still sits even at 1-1. Brown Ballers have been relentless, trying to prevent Tenfifteen from advancing from their defensive end of the pitch. Shot and a goal! An incredible goal and a quick answer for Tenfifteen. Tommy Robinson going bottom right corner, threading through the netting. 2-1 now in favor of Tenfifteen. Just going back to that Romans 10:15 Bible verse. How beautiful are the feet of those that bring the good news. And the good news has been brought for Tenfifteen as we are approaching halftime. Ball gets taken away by Tenfifteen. Smelling blood in the water. Brown Ballers looking for a quick answer to stymie this Tenfifteen attack. And a yellow card gets issued. That's our first yellow card of the matchup. Back into Gill. Gill goes left. The touch off the chest comes outside of the box. Pass comes back into Gill. Brown Ballers weighing in at their options. Dyerson picks it up. Passes on to the left. Asamoah Nearly got it taken away, but just a heads-up play to get it passed and through to Dyerson. Intercepted back by Brown Ballers. Play resumes. Foul on the pitch. A quick play in. And the official's going to restart the play. Two minutes remaining here within the first half. Tenfifteen currently leading by a score of 2-1. That would put your target score time to 3 if this result holds. And that one comes outside, nearly takes the cameraman up in the tower. That was a fun one, elevated into the stratosphere. Kazahasa goes back to his keeper. Rivera. Back over to Kazahasa. He played with the Tulsa Roughnecks, the Dallas Elite, the Texas Spurs. Also spent some time in the MASL with the legendary Dallas Sidekicks. And, of course, here at Tenfifteen. Beautiful touch. That one goes backwards. Goal kick elevated. That was a significant touch by Beltran. Omar Beltran, first time that we've called his name out tonight. Dyerson. He's had a lot of touches early on here in this first half. Up and poked away as Gill was looking to make an attack, but Kazahasa is there. Less than 30 seconds remaining here within this first half. Can Brown Ballers look to get one more shot off before the clock expires? That one gets elevated well beyond the trees. Rattling and ping-ponging off several players. Making his run. He does not have the numbers, however, with Samuel Maroney. Foul down on the turf, much to the dismay of the Tenfifteen fan base. And folks, that's the whistle, and that is the end of the first half. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll go over some stats for you. But as it stands here, the score currently 2-1 in favor of Tenfifteen. We'll be back in a moment. You've been watching the TST live on YouTube.
At Duke Sports Medicine, you can receive care from the #1 orthopedic provider in North Carolina, locations throughout the Triangle. Same day and next.
Back here for the start of the second half on Field 4 in this matchup between Tenfifteen and Brown Ballers. The score currently sitting at 2-1 in favor of Tenfifteen. Oscar Ocampo scored the very first goal of the game for Tenfifteen. Answering him on the opposite end of the pitch was number 17 for Brown Ballers, Ruben Gill. And then Tommy Robinson getting the go-ahead goal for Tenfifteen, which brings us to our current result here to start the second half. Again, that reminder, if this game concludes after the running clock, this 20-minute half, and the score remains the same, that target score will be 3. That, of course, is unless Brown Ballers does have an answer. Or a couple of answers, for that matter. Both teams have looked very strong, and it's just been a matter of chances and opportunities. Tenfifteen operating in the white kit with the black shorts. Brown Ballers in the full-on blue kit with the white numbers and lettering. Pass comes into the goal scorer, Ruben Gill. Brown Ballers having trouble getting it out of their defensive end of the pitch. A nice pass and a good touch. Brown Ballers maintaining possession, looking to threaten. Pass comes into Ocampo. Ocampo looking to make his run. Nothing but a sea of blue, though, as that ball deflects out of play. Coming off number 6, Musa Bam. Bam played for the England 6 side, including a stint with Leicester Nirvana. And that ball's going to stay to Tenfifteen. So we are a few minutes into the start of our second half. We'll remind you again of the target score time as we get closer to it. And, of course, that golden fleece. The fleece is a scarf. But as the sun's coming down and you're feeling the wind, you get the notion that a fleece wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing. And that fleece is provided by the generous folks of Adidas. With the way that this tournament has been expanding and exploding these past couple of years, the sponsorship dollars are coming in. Whether it be Chevy, whether it be Adidas, so many sponsors are coming into the TST. 35% growth is what they're projected at here for 2025. And the economic impact that TST's been having on the city of Cary has been very positive. We've referenced it on a couple of occasions here, estimated to be somewhere between 9 and 30 million. And yes, that is a big disparity, but not bad for a tournament that just got started that lasts around 6 days as that pass comes in and across that midfield to Ocampo. Ocampo going to go back to his keeper. Taking a look at number 5, Jack Savage, who's directly in front of us here by this broadcast booth. Jack Savage at a Harding University. Ball in on that left side. Back over to Rivera. Rivera wearing the number 26. Listed on our roster, though, is number 13. Seasoned, playing in the Lone Star States for the Texas Outlaws, once known as the Mesquite Outlaws of the Major Arena Soccer League. They're coached by the legend Eddie Puskarich. Challenging season for them nonetheless in Eddie Puskarich's first year at the helm. Made his move over from the Dallas Sidekicks to the Texas Outlaws. That's where he had the opportunity to coach Tenfifteen's keeper, Jesus Rivera. Beckett going towards his left. Pass came into Musa Bam, who advanced it. In on that far right corner, Tarun Karanmachi. So that ball comes out of play. One thing we did not note in this game is the substitutions. Subs have to wait in the substitution box before they can come out onto the pitch. Pass rattles off of several players from both Tenfifteen and Brown Ballers. A nice turnaround, but a foul called nonetheless. Corey Cantor is upset for not having the call on the turf, and we see a yellow card issued, the second yellow card of the game.
Yellow card issue.
A little bit about Cantor. He was with the FC Dallas Youth Academy, played collegiately at Oral Roberts. So the yellow card going to be issued to number 6, Musabam. Tenfifteen gradually getting the ball across the pitch into that left side. Still sitting on that 2-1 lead. As we, about 6 minutes into the start of this second half, that ball gets elevated and pushed outside. No throw-ins, no slide tackles, no ties though. That's the best part about the TST tournament. And there's a shot that sails well above the crossbar. An ambitious attempt. And the defensive pressure applied up top by Tenfifteen. Jesus Perez looking to create some havoc into Nathan Beckett. Jesus Perez out of the University of Nebraska, Omaha. Also had a stint within Major League Soccer with FC Dallas. FC Dallas with a significant presence here at the TST tournament, as we've called several games over the course of the past few hours, and we've mentioned the FC Dallas name on plenty of occasions. Of course, the most famous player on FC Dallas here on this pitch for Tenfifteen would be that number 27, Zach Lloyd, who's operating as a player and as a coach. He knows North Carolina really well. His time at Chapel Hill. Back with FC Dallas, was part of that 2016 Supporter Shield winning side, as well as the U.S. Open Cup team. Success within the Final Four. He has been successful for the most part everywhere that he has gone. And the success that he's looking for is the advancement of his side, Tenfifteen. That showed up and showed a lot of skill, talent, and poise as they rattled through the group stages last year, only to fall to Concafa and the Arena Boys. Concafa did win their first game earlier in the day. So, closing in on that halfway point of the second half. Kozenhasa has it with plenty of space to operate. As his pass up towards Rene, wearing number 10, comes back to him. Rene Garcia, to be more precise. Pass going in. To number 18, Omar Beltran. Kozahasa tried to thread it through, deflected out of danger by Brown Ballers. So I haven't seen any threatening opportunities by either side here within the second half. All the attempts taken by Tenfifteen have been well off the mark. They are still sitting in a position of power as they are leading Brown Ballers by a score of 2-1. Defensively, they have looked very solid, not allowing Brown Ballers any run. Chip into the side. What a goal! Tremendous goal by Tenfifteen. As that comes into number 15, Ivan Mwanaze Ben Jono, and you'll have to forgive me if I mispronounced that one, out of Lubbock Christian University. He gets the third goal of the game, and Tenfifteen sitting really pretty here with 10 minutes to go here in the second half. If the game stays at this result, that target score time is now 4. Ivan Wanze Bengano. That is the clarification on the name. And we do apologize if there was any butchering. But want to give the justification for the goal scorer. So now Brown Ballers are going to have to operate with a sense of urgency as the hill that they're going to have to climb is starting to get steeper and steeper. And there's going to be a foul, no question. I believe that is going to be, yes, it is going to be against Omar Beltran. Beltran, a little bit about him. Played with Chivas.
20-minute halves, running time, target scoring after.
So free kick opportunity here for Brown Ballers. An important attempt. Shot, what a save. The rebound. And that one gets tipped.
Terrific save, rebound.
And a great save. Fantastic save by Jesus Rivera. So Brown Ballers did have an opportunity to cut into this lead. And any goal benefits them, as it'll help when it comes down to that target score time. The bigger the lead that Tenfifteen gets, the harder it will be for Brown Ballers to come back. Neither team looking to leave Field 4 with a second loss. So the pace and the intensity certainly is going to pick up, as it has here in the second half. Pass gets chipped in to the box. Shot attempt just wide. And that was Rohan McElligott, the player that we wanted to keep an eye on. Any player who's had the opportunity to compete over at Borussia Mönchengladbach and Fortuna Dusseldorf is going to draw and attract some attention. Gladbach, a historical side in the German Bundesliga. Had a significant run in the 70s where they were the dominant side. I know anytime we talk about the Bundesliga, most people talk about Bayern Munich, but during that era, despite the fact that Bayern was successful, Borussia Mönchengladbach, a very successful team, as that attempt just goes low and wide left by Asamoah. Tenfifteen not letting up, putting more foot on the, or gas on the, and forget what I was going to say as we see another goal. The hits keep on coming as Tenfifteen finds the back of the net yet again. Number 4, Tyler Lee gets the goal. Tyler Lee out of the Cayman Islands, played for the Cayman Islands national team. He is the team captain, and what a huge goal for him. Now things are looking a bit prickly for Brown Ballers. Needing to claw one back, as the target score time will be incredibly difficult for them to achieve. Now, it's not out of the question, as we did see a tremendous comeback earlier in the day by Certified Lions, upsetting Atletico Madrid just a few hours ago. Certified Lions, a team that consists of a lot of arena talent, going up against a very talented Atletico Madrid side, but a team that has not had much experience within the small-sided game. Despite the tremendous achievements they've had from players such as Diego Godin and Miranda, had a tough time in target score time against Certified Lions. I bring that up because, well, we've seen plenty of comebacks within target score time, so Brown Ballers, despite the fact that they're down, certainly not out. But the level of play on the field does need to dial up a notch. As far as the time is concerned, we're about 5.5 minutes away from that target score time. And as it stands, the score is currently 4-1, so that target score time will be 5, which means Tenfifteen only needs 1. Brown Ballers, though, have a Herculean effort in front of them unless they can claw back a couple here before the second half matures. And that ball comes out of play. Possession changes for Brown Ballers. Pass goes into Baum. Baum tried to thread it in through McElligott. Ball is loose, cleaned up by the 10-15 back line. Brown Ballers does recover, despite the fact that Gratterall did go down. Whether or not the contact was made, the official wasn't convinced enough to blow the whistle and make the call. Pass comes in on the right wing. Back over to Baum. Take it away. Ocampo saw an empty net as Beckett was well outside of his box. Wonder if we were going to see an additional attacker. One nuanced rule here within the small-sided game is either team could take out their keeper, similar to hockey where they just add an extra attacker. That's a strategy that was employed by Newtown Pride, and that helped propel them to win the TST back during the inaugural season. Head coach Onu Obasi for Newtown Pride was awarded the Coach of the Year, and he brought that strategy into the arena game where he was recently named the Coach of the Year in the Major Arena Soccer League for use in the exact tactics that made him successful at TST. The header, that just misses. Less than 3 minutes remaining. An empty opportunity, a missed opportunity by Brown Ballers, I should say. As Karamanchi shot well off the mark. Intercepted. Picked back up by Brown Ballers. The chip in. Chest trapped. And that's going to be a foul. Are we going to see the referee reach into his pocket? Yes, we are. That is going to be a yellow card. So, a little bit of extracurriculars out there, but nothing comes out of it. Both teams very aggressive, but very hungry to come out of here with a win, as both teams came into this evening's affair with a loss sustained earlier in the day. Second loss would make it very tough for Brown Ballers to advance. Oh, there's a shot saved by Beckett. The captain, who just scored earlier, Tyler Lee, took another crack at it, but that attempt went right to the chest of Beckett. In fact, you can feel it rattle off his solar plex, so to speak. Not necessarily his chest. I'm aware that that's not the chest. Pass back to Kozahasa. Getting really close to the target score time. Less than 60 seconds remaining. Lee. Had a nice conversation with him earlier yesterday, I should say. And he did have the last goal that we've seen. Whoa, a near deflection. Beckett having trouble as the 10-15 defense gets dialed up. Kozahasa was there, nearly deflects past Beckett. Kozahasa there. Just a few more ticks left before we go into target score time.
The game is over after 40 minutes of regulation. We've got target score time coming up after
And that's going to come out of play. We're just eagerly anticipating the official to blow that whistle as we're getting ready for target score time. Brown Ballers perhaps with one last opportunity. And that's going to be a foul going against Tenfifteen.
That's a little bit of extra time here in the second half.
So we do resume, even though I believe we crossed or gotten close to that buzzer or that whistle blowing. Do Brown Ballers have one final attempt here? As they're going to have to score 4 goals once we head into target score time if this result holds. All right, folks, that's it. Now we head into target score time. So, just to reiterate, the target score is now 5. That is 1 more goal from the leader's tally, the leader being Tenfifteen, sitting on top of a 4-1 lead. So 1 goal by Tenfifteen, the game is over. Brown Ballers do have an opportunity to claw their way back in, but they would have to score several goals. And they've had a tough time finding the back of the net because of that intense defensive pressure from Tenfifteen. But not to say that it's impossible. And so we start with 7v7 as we began the game. If 3 minutes expire and no goal has been scored, well then both teams remove a player from the pitch. Now we go to 6v6. If nobody scores after 3 more minutes, 5v5, 4v4, 3v3, 2v2, and that's where it ends. It will never go less than 2v2. Even if a player on the pitch gets shown a red card, it'll still continue on 2v2. So we're just moments away from the start of the target score time, as both teams going through some final instructions before they resume activity. All right, folks, back here for the start of target score time. So that target score time is 5. All Tenfifteen needs to do is punch it through one more time. Brown Ballers have to score 4 more if they're going to look to walk out of here with a win. If Tenfifteen wins, they'll have a loss and a win here in this group stage. Brown Ballers dangerously looking at 2, but there's a shot and a brilliant save. Very valiant effort. But Jesus Rivera, I was talking to the Lloyds yesterday. They praised his shot-stopping ability, and you saw it right there. There's an attempt that somehow finds its way through the cages. Brown Ballers have it, putting it quickly into play. Nearly running into the officials. Poked away. Lee, who scored the 4th goal, had it for a moment, taken away. I think that is Gill that advanced it. And pushed back and out of danger. Back over to Rivera. Rivera finds Ocampo. 2-on-2 opportunity. Ocampo's shot. Bottom right, just misses. Ocampo does have 1 goal. He drew first blood early within the first half. Looking to be the hero here. The individual that scores that game winner will be awarded that Golden Fleece. That Golden Fleece being a scarf presented by Adidas. And the winner of it's going to get to come back to the TST and TBT anytime they want to. So that's a fun new addition here at the 3rd annual soccer tournament, TST, here at WakeMed Soccer Park in beautiful Cary, North Carolina. So Tommy was looking to go right. Tommy did score a goal early. Brown Ballers with a shot. That one deflects. Another opportunity, and that just misses. Brown Ballers oh so close to cutting the lead in half. It's funny the way the ball bounces, in particular on a 6.5 tall goal. 18.5 feet wide. Dyerson. Back over to Savage. I think Savage thus far one of the few players on Tenfifteen that has his last name on the back of his kit. Settling in on it is Rivera. Across into Ocampo. Ocampo looking to carve up his defender. Poked away. Lee, the captain, has it. Another attempt. Brown Ballers stymieing the Cayman Islands International. But that attempt, and we saw that bazooka of a shot from Lee. That goes right in towards Tarun Karanmanchi and looked like it knocked the wind out of him. In fact, it knocked the wind out of me just watching it. So the trainer comes out onto the pitch. That's going to stop the clock. And so as we move forward, Karanmanchi is back on his feet. Just needed a moment just to clear himself after taking a rough shot in from the captain of Tenfifteen, Lee. So we're moments away from going from 7v7 to 6v6. As the pass comes in to Bingano. So now we are in a 6v6 scenario. And if 3 minutes expire and no one scores, well, then you remove one. But one thing that doesn't change is the target score time. Or the target score, rather. All Tenfifteen needs is one more. Ocampo. Ocampo's been very tough to contend against, as he has serpentined his way into the box on a number of occasions. But as he finds his way in, that back line of Brown Ballers has been collapsing. And we've seen a few deflections coming from that back line. And that's exactly why Karanmanchi went down to the ground for a moment. Beltran tried to dipsy-do his way through. There's a shot saved. Ball on that touchline comes out of play. The official's going to say a change of possession. And that is a close call as well. 10-15 was looking rather ominous in their attack. That one gets chipped ahead. Over to Karamanchi, who not only got back on his toes really quickly, but shows that fancy-dancy footwork. He did have Gill open momentarily in the box. But Brown Ballers looking to reset their offense as that pass-through comes off of Ocampo. And Baum is going to let it go through. Hazard connecting with Gill. Gill the only scorer for Brown Ballers. The shot! And that does hit the net, but just the side of it. So, set piece opportunity here. Corner kick for Brown Ballers. So getting really close to where we're going to have to switch things up onto the pitch. Game starts to get interesting when you head down to that 2v2, and we have seen that here on Field 4. Can't speak for the rest of the games here, as I've spent the majority of my evening and morning and afternoon here on Field 4. But if you've been tuning into the Field 4 broadcasts, we've been treated to some really fun and exciting games. Quick attack here. There's a shot saved by Rivera. Rivera has been tested time and time again, and he's come up with some big shot stops. Okay, folks, that ends the next round. So we're going from 6v6 to 5v5. So deuce is wild, you can say, as 5v5 with a target score of 5. Well, not deuce is wild then. It's been a long day, folks. So hopefully I've been informing and entertaining you enough here. It's not just the players that have been running out of gas, but we are having a ton of fun here. Pass comes into Dyerson. See both teams huffing and puffing here, as they did play earlier. Not against each other, but earlier. Pocket gets picked. Gill looking ahead. Gill's shot, and he scores! Finding the back of the net for the second time today. Gill cuts into that lead. Now that's going to make things interesting here. Does the tide turn for Brown Ballers? It's 4-2. That target score doesn't change, but that's less goals now that Brown Ballers have to score. Will the small-sided game, short-sided game, less players on the pitch, benefit them? Thus far it has, as we've moved to that 5v5 scenario. Dyerson has it. Dyerson sitting on it. And now Rivera is going to come off, and we do have another attacker for Tenfifteen. So empty net, so to speak. So if Brown Ballers can find it, there's a shot. Ooh, that just comes off of the wrong end of the boot by Dyerson. And miscommunication for a moment as Tenfifteen intercepts, and they have the numbers. Ocampo shot. What a goal! Que golazo! Bottom right corner. Tenfifteen closes it out here in target score time. Ocampo for the second time punches it through the back of the net, and Tenfifteen get their first dub here at TST. And what a goal that was. Ocampo started this goal scoring, ended the goal scoring, and a tremendous effort by both teams. Brown Ballers valiantly fought their way back in the game. Ruben Gill of Brown Ballers did put on an offensive performance, scoring twice. but he would be the only goal scorer, as 10-15's offense was just too much. Once again, to quote that phrase, Romans 10:15, how beautiful are the feet of those that bring the good news. And who brings the good news is Ocampo with the game winner. That's going to do it for us here, folks. We got about 30 minutes before our next one here on Field 4. And congratulations to 10-15 on the win. Back in a half hour, you are watching the TST on YouTube.